Assalamu alaikum. This is Lubna from Conversations and Chai on Desi Ottawa. उम्मीद है कि आपको लास्ट वीक का शो पसंद आया होगा. वो UMOG के बारे में था और हमने उनसे काफ़ी चीज़ें लर्न करी कि उनके मेंबर्स कौन हैं, वो लोग क्या क्या वर्क करते हैं, उन्होंने जो इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क करा है ड्यूरिंग कोविड उसके बारे में भी हमने लर्न करा. और आज के जो गेस्ट हैं हमारे वो एक हाई स्कूल टीचर हैं और काफ़ी लोग मुझे मैसेज कर रहे थे कि आप प्लीज़ एक टीचर को बुलाएं और उनसे डिस्कशन करें कि पेरेंट्स को क्या क्या करना चाहिए अपने बच्चों की हेल्प करने के लिए ड्यूरिंग कोविड. तो अब हम अपने गेस्ट से मिलते हैं. अस्सलाम वालेकुम. कैसे हैं आप अनीस भाई?
बिल्कुल खैरियत, आप बताइए.
मैं भी ठीक हूँ. तो today's guest is Dr. Anisur Rahman and why don't we do a quick introduction with him? Why don't you provide a brief background, please?
My education is in agriculture. I have done a PhD in crop sciences from US. Previously I was working in Pakistan Agriculture Research Council. When I came to Canada, I worked for Agriculture Canada, but then I realized it's time to transfer the knowledge to the youth. So I joined I contacted Ontario Teachers College and I became a teacher and I joined Ridgemont High School with the local board. So now I'm teaching grade 9 to grade 12 science courses. I'm also able to teach math as well, but right now I'm teaching science courses.
Perfect. So you're actually a PhD, but you decided to give your knowledge to students, which is fantastic. So you're teaching at Ridgemont High School, grade 9s to 12, sciences, mainly science subjects,
Mainly science subjects.
And math. Okay, perfect. So before we get into our discussion, why don't we take a quick break and we'll be right back. So let's talk about Ridgemont High School. So how long have you been teaching there?
It's almost 16 years that I've been teaching at Ridgemont High School.
Fantastic.
Actually, since I joined the board, I started at Ridgemont and since then I'm still there.
Oh, that's excellent. So how many students would you say that you teach?
Normally my class size is between 20 to 25.
Per grade?
Per grade.
Perfect.
And we have 4 periods, so we only teach 3 periods,
right.
And 1 is our prep time.
Okay.
So that was the normal
routine
to teach 20 to 25 kids in one class.
Okay. And has it changed now because of COVID? Has the numbers been reduced?
Every school has decided to use their own pattern. Our school decided to use a quad system.
Okay.
So instead of going for one semester from September till January, they have split it in 2 quads. So that means that period 1 and 3 are coming in the first quad. They will be ending by mid of November, and the second quad will start, which will be period 2 and 4.
Okay.
So right now I'm teaching period 1 and 3 quads.
So does that mean that so kids are doing 3 or 4 subjects or just 3 subjects?
Kids have to do 4 subjects.
4 subjects each
We
semester.
teach only 3 subjects.
Okay.
1 is our prep.
1 is your prepping.
That's right.
Exactly, because there's a lot of prepping required now.
Exactly.
Okay. And do you find that a lot of kids are still coming into the class, or are some of them doing online as well?
Most of them opted to come to class because they got bored during the time of COVID, and they are very appreciative to the teachers. And nowadays we observe that the students are well behaved. Not at all, a lot of talking going on, just concentrated on the work.
Excellent.
So things have changed, but kids want to be in the class as long as it's possible for them.
Oh, that's good to know.
Yeah.
Maybe they were missing it. Because it's been 6 months, right? 6-7 months, I think.
The socializing aspect was missing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So do you have any children though who also do the course online?
Yes, I do.
So how does that work?
What happens is that, for example, 2 of my students, they were sisters, but their father had a very severe diabetic attack.
Okay.
So the hospital asked the kids as well to stay home. So
Right.
their situations change day by day. So kids are being asked to stay home, or they don't feel comfortable
Yes.
to come to the environment when they hear that, oh, there's one case or two cases of
Because
COVID.
of health issues.
Exactly. So they decide to take it online. So they can take it online as long as they are logged into the Google Classroom. So we have set up Google Classroom
Okay.
to the board, and through that we do online as well as in class teaching.
Okay, so does that mean that when you're actually physically teaching the class,
Mhm.
so you've got your regular students who are attending, and then
Right.
the online student is logged in, and at the same time they're in the class?
They can log in
Okay.
during the same time,
Yeah.
but to teach two groups at one time, it becomes hard. So what some teachers may opt to do that, but what I do is I post all the work online in the morning, and the teachers students can access. So even the students who are coming to class, before coming to class, they have access to the work
Okay.
they are going to do that day. And when they are doing or looking into the work coursework, they can do it online as well.
Okay, so if a child is not physically coming in, so then they can access the information online in the morning before the
Yes.
class starts.
Yes.
But then how do you monitor the attendance?
The attendance is monitored. We have a time frame for them
Okay.
to come during that time frame. For example, in our department, one of our teachers who has the prep during this
Yes.
week, he or she will monitor their attendance. So they have
Okay.
a certain time period, about half an hour. The students will log in. If they have any questions regarding that day's assignment or any other upcoming assignment or test,
Right.
they will ask them. I will provide them the material. Actually, that teacher is also allowed to be a part of the class, so they can look at all the material that is being taught. So these are senior teachers, so
Yes.
obviously they'll know all the material. So the students can ask the teacher questions,
Okay.
and that way the attendance is already taken.
So basically you have to prepare two things now, right? One for online and one for the students coming
You
in.
got that one right. Yeah,
Right? It's
yeah.
a lot of work.
That's a lot
Okay.
of work. Yeah.
And how do you conduct if there's a lab required? Like for
Mhm.
some, you mentioned that you teach science as well, so like chemistry, so on. There's
Right.
labs, right?
Yeah.
So how would that child who's online, how would they do the lab?
The labs we have set up since we are in school, we are looking at the students who are coming to school.
Yes.
So the labs are set up. We have big benches, so
Okay.
we provide individual material to each student, and that material stays with that student, even if they have to continue the lab the next or the other day.
Okay.
So they can use only that material.
But
they leave
these
it-
are kids coming into school.
That's right.
Okay.
They're doing
Yeah.
it online. For the home students, there are virtual labs.
Okay.
Those are provided, approved by the board.
Yeah.
And we provide them online. The labs are simple. They are not very complicated
Okay.
things, so they can use their home things like, for example, collecting the material which are hazardous
Yeah.
material and their labeling and all that stuff. They can do it at home as well. So, but sometimes it's more challenging for them
Right,
to do. So
exactly.
there are virtual labs that can be done.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you have to, so you basically had to modify your programs, right, in teaching?
A lot of modification.
A
has
lot
been
of
done.
modification.
Yes, correct.
And that's probably why the schools were also closed for so long, because all the teachers were probably prepping to see how to modify their, new system, right?
Correct. We almost had 2 weeks of prep time, but we still thought that was not enough for us.
No.
But now, as the time passes by, the teachers are adjusting, the students are adjusting. So,
Okay, and did you find, because kids were away for so many months, were they lagging or behind in their subjects, or did they quickly catch up?
did
Did they miss a whole section? Like, because if you remember before COVID happened, the teacher strike was on,
Right,
so
yeah,
right?
that's
So
right,
they
yeah.
were also missing school every
School,
other
yeah,
week for
right.
that as well.
It depends on individual students. Some
Okay.
students are very aggressive to catch up on the stuff. They're eager to learn.
Yeah.
So those students really catch up really fast. But those students who need a lot of support and at home, like in class support,
Yeah.
then obviously we have to work with them.
Of course.
And we do have other teachers as well who help students who are struggling or having
Okay.
difficulties in catching up.
So you're providing extra staff as well to kids to catch up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We have extra staff that, for example, we just had our midterms report card submitted. So the students who are struggling or are at the verge of failing the
Yeah.
courses, we have already sent their report card to those teachers, and those teachers are going to work with those students to make sure that they catch up on the work, hand in the assignments, and they are able to pass the course.
So these are those teachers working with them individually, one-on-one?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
It's one-on-one, yes.
So then the parents don't have to hire like an extra tutor or something, right?
If the parents want to, yes, they should, if they can. But there's no need if the parents, actually, if the parents get involved in the Google Classroom, the
Yeah.
parents the teacher have the option to invite the parents, and we encourage the parents to join the classroom. So when they are in the classroom, most of the time the teachers understand what is going on, and they can guide or help the students at home as
Right.
well.
Okay, so now let's talk about, you just mentioned that you just had midterm exams?
Correct, yes.
So then I understand that the kids who are in class, they wrote the exams in
Right.
class. What about the ones who are doing it online? How do you
Actually,
evaluate
it was
them?
not a midterm exam, it was just a midterm report
Okay,
card. Yeah.
report card,
So
okay.
that was a cumulative of all the assignments that they
Assignments,
had
okay.
and that we had already assessed. So it's almost like half of the course was done and the assignments were assessed.
Okay.
Those assignments comprised of some kind of research work,
Okay,
some kind of questions,
yeah,
and in some cases a test as well.
right.
So the test, the students who were in class, they were allowed to access their notes
Right.
to write an in-class test, and those who were at home, they could access Google and write the test.
So then how will the final exam be conducted for those students who are not coming in, the online ones?
There is no final exam.
There's
so
no
the,
So is that normal or just
that's
for
not
this year?
normal. That
No.
is not normal.
Yes.
But board is encouraging us not to give them a final
Okay.
exam. Even
Just to
in
make
the-
it fair, I guess, for everybody, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
During the normal school as well, we used to have a summative and
Yes.
a final exam, so 15%, 50%. So instead of having a final exam, we are just giving in and take home a summative.
Okay.
That's like squeezed everything
Right.
in one summative, so all the strands are covered.
So the board really had to modify quite a few things, it seems
Yes,
like.
the
It's a
board
lot
had
of
to
work.
go, and it
Board and teachers, obviously.
board and teachers, and it also depends on individual schools as well.
Of
So
course.
the modifications were suggested by the
Yes.
administrators, and obviously those which were appealing to the teachers,
Right.
those were adapted by the
Okay.
teachers. Yeah.
So it varies from school to school, because I think your school also specializes in something, right? Don't you have some special programs at your
We
school
have
specifically at Richmond?
We have wood workshop,
Okay,
and we have auto workshop. Those are our special. We have a very good music program,
perfect.
and also we have other good programs.
I think
as well.
sports as well.
Sports as well, yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
right. Rugby, our
Yeah.
team is very good in rugby
And
and basketball. Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, that's good. So now let's get to the most important part. A lot of people actually have been messaging me
Mhm.
saying, could you ask a teacher to come on your show
Okay.
and talk about how can a parent help their child? Because it's very difficult. I think a lot of parents, they see their kids, they walk in the room and the kid is playing video games. So, and then they're worried, is this kid gonna fail? Are they gonna pass? So what can parents do to maybe establish some sort of a routine for their children? I know for some of the younger kids, they're supposed to actually get dressed up, right?
Right,
And then
yeah.
log in, and then
Right.
they're on the
Online,
computer
yeah.
with their teacher. So what about for high school kids?
That's exactly what's happening with my
Okay.
granddaughter.
Right.
She's all dressed up in the
She's all
morning,
dressed
9
up.
a.m. and she's
She
all
has a
looking-
routine.
That's right.
Exactly.
So she has a routine. But
For high school kids, it's very
it's
different.
very difficult. It's very challenging
Right.
as well. But you are absolutely right that since they are independent, they are sometimes they are over 18, so
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want. But the parents need to be involved, engaged
Okay.
with them.
Now, how do they get involved and engaged? What can parents do?
They can monitor what the students are doing. Again, as I mentioned, they need to be in the Google Classroom.
Google Classroom.
So when they are part of Google Classroom, they can look at all the work that has been assigned on them.
Okay, so so if your child is doing an online study, not going into school, then the parent should also be involved in the Google Classroom.
Yes.
So the parent can actually be registered in the Google Classroom, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, and if your child is coming into school, because perhaps kids are maybe a little bit more laid back this year because of COVID, so what can that parent do to monitor, still be involved, maybe check with the teacher?
Correct, yes. So I'm receiving emails from the parents, and they ask for me to call them and have a chat with them so I can give them a call back.
Perfect.
I also have a telephonic conversation as well if they are not
if they need it. Yes, exactly.
So they can monitor everything in the Google Classroom, what's going on, and every assignment that is submitted or asked to be done on Google Classroom has a timeline.
Okay.
So they can click on their child's name, and underneath it they will find out if the child is missing any assignments.
Oh, okay.
So the ones who are not doing it, they'll see a list of missed assignments.
Missed assignments, okay.
And the ones who are doing, they will see that the they have submitted the assignment.
Right.
And if the teacher has marked it, they'll send it back to them.
Okay.
So
this can actually be applied to both parents, online and the other ones. They should be in the Google group and they should check and see which assignments are missing, which ones are caught up, and does it also give marks?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Yes, it does.
So they can even monitor their child's
performance.
Performance, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. They can
which is excellent. Very good.
The only thing is that once a child opts to go to a virtual classroom, then they are no more in the in school cohort anymore.
Oh.
So they are transferred to online courses. So that's why there's a big backlog for the students who are.
So then they're actually not your student. Is that what you mean? So they go to a different system.
They do go to a different system.
Okay.
So half of my class has now opted to
virtual.
Let's say out of 16, 4 have opted to go virtual. So they are with a different teacher now.
Oh, okay.
But out of those 16, still might be 4 or 5 are still staying home, and they want to learn in class.
From you. Exactly.
Because being in class, the option is always available for them to come back to school and learn.
Yes.
The ones who have gone virtual learning, then they're gone. So they're
like totally like 100% virtual, like all their courses.
Yes. Their course is 100% virtual. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what type of feedback are you getting from parents and students because of this new setup now with schools?
The parents. First, it was very challenging, and obviously for us as well as the students as well. But now, since the students have adapted to it and they are getting the hang of it, so they can manage their work. They are able to submit their assignments on time. The parents are happy. When we submitted our midterm report card, it was not submitted to the student. It was sent directly into the emails of the parents. So guess what? At 11 p.m. at night when I was sending the report, I was also worried that the parent might kick in the door of the kid and ask, what's going on here?
Exactly.
So
all those video games.
There you go. So in the past we used to just give the report card to the students. They used to take home, whether they show it to parent or not. But now
didn't the parents have to sign it though? Because when I was in school, I remember my parents had to sign it.
Exactly, they had to sign it, but kids know how to work around that.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, but now it's very hard for them to hide anything.
Because everything's emailed.
Everything is emailed.
Yeah, and I'm just concerned about, so like grade 12 students who graduated in the summer, what happened with them? I'm just curious from your school. For university, because a lot of them are in university. I was talking to somebody and she said, oh, I don't feel I'm prepared for university because I missed so much school and I'm finding university hard.
I'm glad you asked that. Because universities, we have a communication with you. Obviously we are training the kids to go to college and university, and universities have already adapted to this system and they know what's going to happen.
Okay.
So they know what's coming on their way, so they're prepared for that. So even if the kids have not learned a lot or
Right.
may not have accomplished a lot, but still if they have done enough work or made it to
Yeah.
the percentage required by the university, they will be taken. And since students are all also online,
Yes,
so they are going through the same system.
they are
So
going.
it's no different than.
So it's
our
very
school.
similar then.
It's very similar. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like some people are saying my child is not prepared because he or she missed like 6 months of school. But you're saying the university has adjusted their system as
That's
well.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think that parents should be scared or
Okay.
should be even
Worried about that.
worried about that
Yeah.
part, that their kids will not do well. in
Right,
university.
exactly.
Please send them to the university.
Universities are prepared
They are
for
prepared
whatever is to happen.
and they are more than happy to help them out if there is any need.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's good. So now the next batch of kids that you have who are in grade 12 this year, obviously
Right.
they'll be graduating.
Right.
So it's going to be kind of strange for them, right, when they graduate,
Oh,
because they've
yeah,
done a
oh,
full
yeah.
year of virtual or perhaps different type of learning this whole year,
Exactly.
and then they're going to graduate. So do you find there's a big difference this year compared to maybe not last year, because last year was a strange year,
That's right, yeah.
but perhaps the year before that? So do you think it's a big difference?
There's a big difference, yes.
Like from a learning perspective or teaching perspective or both?
It's from both
Okay.
perspectives. So because obviously our teaching
It's changed.
strategy was different. Now it's a different strategy. The learning of a student in class in front of a teacher is much more absorbent,
Yes.
and the student can absorb a lot of
Right.
material. But learning at home on their own, sometimes they don't feel like
Yeah.
getting up and doing the work.
Exactly.
So that's what happens.
Do you think that some kids have become lazy because they've stayed home for so many months?
Yes, some of them, and those who became lazy, they might have opted to stay home again.
Yeah.
But most of the kids, they were happy that
They were eager, right?
They were eager to
to
come back. Yes. Yes.
What about sports? What's happening with sports now at school?
So-
I know you don't teach that, but you
Right.
probably know.
And the sports also, they have adapted to
Okay.
this situation, and the classes are being held outside now.
Yes.
So they are in the open environment as far as the weather allows.
So there's no gym inside, right?
There's no gym inside. yes,
Okay.
Yeah.
And somebody was telling me that when they have gym, after that, they don't change, they just go home.
For example, for our school,
Yeah.
for example, I'm teaching grade 9 for period 1.
Okay.
So they will come for the whole week,
Yeah.
but they are split in two halves.
Yes.
So half of the kids will come on Monday, the other half will come on Tuesday.
Tuesday.
So
Okay.
they'll alternate on those days.
Got it.
So this week I was teaching grade 9, next week I'll be teaching grade 10.
Oh, okay.
So they will be again alternate.
Alternate.
So that way we have like 1/4 of the population coming to school. They come at 9 in the morning, 1 a.m. they're gone.
Oh, okay.
So 1 a.m. they're gone home. That's their lunchtime.
Yeah.
1 to 2 they can have their lunch, and again they log in at 2
Yeah.
and do their homework assignments. There's another teacher to help them.
Right, exactly.
And from 2 to 3 p.m. 3:15.
Yes,
the school
exactly.
Time, they have to complete those hours.
They have to complete.
Yeah.
So then I'm just curious to know, are they doing school sports? Because the schools are not competing, right? There's
Not
no
anymore.
varsities.
No,
not anymore.
not anymore.
So everything is put on hold.
And it is, yeah, it is
Okay.
on hold.
So now let's do, what's like a typical day for you now? So like what time do you have to get to school? Do you have to get there extra early in the morning?
Yes, we do. For example.
So let's walk me through like a typical day. So
So-
people, the audience knows
Right.
what does a high school teacher have to do now?
So previously I could be there by 8:30, but now I'm there by 8 because
Okay.
I have to prepare the lessons for the day and make sure that it's on the Google Classroom
Yeah.
as well as
For the
I'm ready
virtual
with the material
students.
because
Yeah.
the material for the students who are coming in has to be prepared 2 days ahead of time.
Okay.
So if I'm giving a photocopied page, it has to be 2 days in
It has
advance.
to be 2 days,
So
yeah.
that and then it has been put on. So when the students come in, they have their benches about 6 feet apart.
Okay.
So they're not sitting
Okay,
together.
so the classroom is adjusted to
Oh, classroom has
everything.
been, yes,
And is
yes.
there those plastic?
No, not in.
Everybody's sitting 2 meters apart.
At least 2 meters apart.
Does everybody wear a mask in the classroom?
That's a requirement.
Okay.
At the door, there's 2 teachers standing in the morning.
Yes.
And if some student forgets the mask, they are provided with the mask.
Yes.
Their hand sanitizer at
Yeah.
the entrance, and in the classroom as well, there are hand sanitizers.
Do they take their temperature?
No,
Okay.
and the high schools have opted not to take the
So
temperature.
before the child comes in the school, do they have to fill out a
Yes.
form? Okay.
The teachers,
Yeah.
as well as the students, they
Yeah.
have to
Is it
follow
daily or weekly?
Every day.
Every day.
Every
So
day.
they have to say if I have a cold, if I have a cough or whatever.
Every
Okay.
day in the morning, I log
Every
in
day
the
in the morning.
computer, I answer
Yeah.
the same questions. Although the last 14 days I didn't go anywhere, but still have to say
You
that.
have to, yes, exactly, yeah.
Yes,
It's the
yeah.
same with everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so every single student has to fill out a form,
Right,
even the teachers.
that's right.
Then when they get to school, the teacher will make sure their hands are sanitized,
Right.
they're wearing a mask, and
Right.
then they come into the class.
They
Okay,
come in.
then what
And-
happens?
And the time frame is for them, the school starts at 9, but they cannot come into school 15 minutes before the class.
Oh, okay, so exactly at 9.
Exactly at 9.
Okay.
And they have different doors to come in. If they're coming from the, getting off the bus,
Yeah,
they can come in from the front door.
okay.
If the parents are dropping, they have to come in from the side door.
Oh, okay.
So the
My
entrances
goodness.
have been also
Predetermined for whoever is coming.
That's right.
Okay,
And
got it.
that also by their first, last names. So A to
Okay.
3 is entering from one door,
Yeah.
and G through Z is entering from another door.
It's just to
So-
make sure that people are not flowing
Exactly,
together.
yes.
Okay. And then, okay, so the child comes in, everybody's desks are 2 meters apart, they all sit down. You said they have to keep a mask on the whole
Right.
time?
Once you're in the classroom, they cannot leave.
They cannot leave, okay.
If
What
they
about
have
if they have to go to the bathroom?
If they have to go to the washroom, we have a form provided that is set up for OPH, and they have to fill in their full name and where did they go. So that if in case there was a trace to be made for
Yes,
any
for COVID,
infection,
yes.
they would be able, for example,
To
the
trace
girl went to the girls' washroom. They can only go to the main floor washroom because
Depending on where their classroom
where their
is.
classroom
Yeah,
is, and then they cannot go anywhere. There are 10-minute break from 11:08 to 11:18.
yes.
During that time, they can go in the back end of the classroom or even on their table, take off their mask, eat, drink whatever they want to.
Okay.
As soon as
In the classroom,
in the
same
class-
classroom.
Yes, same classroom.
Okay.
But they're not going anywhere.
Are they allowed to
They're-
bring a backpack?
Anything they bring, even a pencil they bring, they have to take it back.
And they keep it with them at all times?
They have it, keep
Okay.
it. So they bring their own water bottles and everything.
No
If-
sharing.
No sharing, yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So if they ask me for a pencil, I do provide them.
But then you don't take it back,
Yeah.
exactly.
And I keep some water bottles at the back in case students need it. So they can have it, they're gone. So anything that comes goes out.
Goes with them.
Nothing stays in the class. Because
Yeah.
as soon as they leave, I have to spray the whole classroom
Okay.
with the sanitizer to make sure that the sanitizer stays there for
Yeah.
a certain time frame, and then custodian
Then you
staff
wipe it.
comes later on and they clean
Right.
it.
So 9 o'clock they come in, they're taught,
Yeah.
and then at 11 you said they have a break for
11
10
hours,
minutes.
for 10 minutes,
They
yes.
take a snack, I guess.
That's right.
And then,
1 p.m. they're gone.
so the day is finished at
Day
1
is
p.m.?
finished. For them, day is finished.
Okay,
In school.
in school.
For them, day is finished in school. Then they go for their lunch at home. And after eating their lunch,
Right.
they have to log in again at 2 p.m. From 2 p.m. to 3:15 p.m. they have to be
Do their
in
homework.
class, their homework. So we assign them work. Some
Oh, I
teachers.
see. So
Yeah.
1 o'clock they are sent back home, they eat lunch.
Right.
At 2 o'clock they are required to log in on the computer
Right,
so the
yeah.
teacher knows the kid is back in attendance. And then
Right.
from 2 to 3:15 they sit at home
Right.
and do their homework.
Do their homework.
Okay, so the child is gone now. Now what do you have to do? You have to spray everything, you said?
Only the desk where the students were
Each
sitting.
desk.
Each desk where but since let's say I had 22 desks in my class,
Yeah.
and only 6 students were sitting in there, so I only spray those 6 desks.
Those 6 desks. Okay.
So later on, the custodian staff come and they
Then they wipe it.
And they wipe it up.
Okay. And
So in
what
the
are-
meantime, in the meantime, the custodian staff they keep wiping the doors and knobs.
Yes,
during the day.
continuously throughout the day.
Throughout the day, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the child is gone at 1 o'clock. Then what do the teachers do after that? Oh, you have to stay at school.
We have to-
because they have to log in again. You can't leave yet. Exactly.
In our staff meeting, the principal
Exactly.
emphasized that you cannot
Go
please
yet.
leave at 3:15.
Okay. So
Yeah.
you leave at 3:15.
We leave at 3:15.
Okay.
Yes.
Now.
Normally, I don't. Most of
Yeah.
teachers can because they still have to prepare a lot of
Yeah,
work.
prepare,
Yeah.
maybe mark assignments or exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then how have you adjusted now? Because you have to, so the mask that you wear, is it a special mask that you're wearing now? What type of a mask do you wear?
It's equivalent to quality of I-95.
Okay.
And that has been provided by the board.
Yeah.
So nice of the board. And on top of the mask, we have to wear a shield as well.
The
when
plastic
we,
shield.
The plastic shield.
Yeah.
When we are interacting with the students.
Okay. So as long as that, if you're at the blackboard, you don't need to wear the shield. But if you're going to go to the student at their desk, then you need to put the shield on.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
So how?
Some teachers opt to keep the shield all the time. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Because it is easier, then they don't miss it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I think some of them they just lift up though, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you adjusted now to this mask?
Getting used to it now.
Okay, because some people I know, like when I go to the dentist, for example, he's wearing a full-on suit, like a plastic suit,
Right.
and then he's got the shield, the mask,
Right.
and then something else, a cap, plastic cap,
Right.
plastic gloves. Do you have to
Yeah.
wear gloves?
No, we don't have to wear gloves.
Okay.
We don't have to wear any gown, and
Yeah.
only the
Right.
mask is
Just the
required,
mask, yeah.
and the plastic shield. But sometimes it's hard to wear reading glasses on top of it,
Yes.
the shield and the mask. But sometimes we are sitting in the home all by ourselves and have the mask on without realizing that no one is in the room anymore.
Exactly.
So things have changed, but
Right.
we have adapted to it.
You have adapted. Okay, that's good to know. So that's quite difficult, and obviously it must get hot. And you know, in the beginning, I think people maybe have experiencing problems, you know, like breathing or so on, right? That must
Yes.
be difficult too.
In the beginning, it was very tough for students and the teachers to adapt to these
Right,
situations.
exactly.
But now it has become
Now
normal.
it's a norm now,
It's
right?
a norm now.
Yes,
Yeah.
the new norm of 2020.
You got it.
Exactly, which flew by.
Right.
So it was very nice to have you on the show today, and I think you gave some very important and valuable tips to parents, what they should be doing and what they should not be doing, right? Exactly how to check up. So you said join the Google chat.
Google
Is it
Classroom.
Google Classroom.
Google
And do you
Classroom.
want to just tell the viewers again how they should do that? So they can request it?
They can email the teacher to put their emails on the Google Classroom,
Classroom.
and they can access the Google Classroom. Also, when the student is on the Google chat, get the time frame. It's already given under the stream or under the classwork that so at this time frame the teacher will be coming and meeting the student online. So the parent can sit down beside the student
Right.
and ask any questions if they have, or just listen at the back what's going on,
Mhm.
so that they can monitor them.
Right.
It's better to let the student communicate with the teacher at that time. But if the parent wants to communicate directly with the teachers,
They can.
Then it's better to send them an
Right.
email, ask for a time frame that the teacher
Yeah.
can talk. The teacher will,
Right,
will,
exactly.
would love
And
to
I guess
give
the
them a call.
parent should maybe try to provide an environment of a classroom if your child is working online, right? That
Correct, yes.
parents could also
That
do
is very important. That is
Exactly.
very same way as some parents are working from home, they have
Exactly, they
established
have-
a workstation. The child also needs a similar environment.
Exactly.
So they need to have a desk, proper desk, and
Mhm.
a place to sit down and work
Okay.
on it.
That's fantastic. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'd love to have you back. Maybe in a few months you can update us again, perhaps after graduation.
Right.
So thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Lubna, for having me. It's always a pleasure to be a part of your programs. Thank you.
उम्मीद है कि आपको आज का शो पसंद आया होगा, और हमारे जो गेस्ट थे डॉक्टर अनीसुर रहमान, उन्होंने हमें काफ़ी टिप्स दिए कि पेरेंट्स किस तरीके से अपने बच्चों की हेल्प कर सकते हैं स्टडी करने में, स्कूल में और एट होम। और हम सब लोगों को चाहिए कि ये इनके जो सजेशंस थे ये फॉलो करें। तो इंशाल्लाह फिर नेक्स्ट वीक आपसे मुलाकात होती है।